بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Today, or inshallah, we will be speaking about a new hadith and chapter of Zuhd wal Wara. Zuhd, as I say, minimalism. Zuhd, it's basically when you leave the things that it will not benefit you in the akhirah. And al-wara is when you leave the things that it might harm you in the akhirah. And the hadith of today, hadith ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu ardah, wa radiyallahu an abih, أنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من تشبه بقوم فهو منهم أخرجه أبو داود وصححه ابن حبان. Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, he who imitates, resemble any people in their, any people is considered to be one of them, is considered to be one of them. Or in another word, فَهُوَ مِنْهُمْ, he will become one of them. This hadith related by or narrated by Abi Dawood and Ibn Hibban, and Ibn Hibban graded it as Sahih. You might ask, what's the connection between this hadith about imitating others and the concept of Zuhd and Wara? And the answer for this, that this hadith is mainly related to imitating the people who are not upon the religion of Islam or practicing that way or the hadi or the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the relationship between this hadith and the concept of zuhd and wara is very interesting. And I thought this is really very clever and very smart and very deep actually to bring this hadith in this chapter. It shows you how much deep understanding Imam ibn Hajar rahimahullah, Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah has. Because this hadith telling us is not allowed to imitate the kuffar, the disbelievers, the people of no faith in their lifestyle, because their lifestyle has nothing to do with the akhirah and has everything to do with this dunya. Those who are drowning in this dunya and dry from the akhirah, they have nothing to do with the akhirah. That's not in their mind, it's not in their heart. And this is basically the opposite of a zuhd. A zuhd is to avoid the dunya or to avoid the thing in the dunya that it will not benefit you in the akhirah. But when you look at the way and the lifestyle of the people who don't believe in the hereafter, who don't believe in Allah and the Day of Judgment, who don't believe in Sharia, they have no wara', they have no halal and haram. All what they care about is to fulfill their desires and to live their day and to have fun and to, get from this dunya as much as they can. But for the Muslim, no, it's not about you get from this dunya as much as you can. It's about you protect yourself from this dunya as much as you can. It's the opposite. That's why the way of a zuhd and the way of al-wara, it means that you will have a different lifestyle than the people who don't believe in the akhirah, the people who don't believe in Allah and the Day of Judgment, the people who don't believe in the sharia and the rules of prophets and the messenger, and especially the way of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if you going to be like them, you end up like them in the dunya, and what we worry about, that you end up like them in the akhirah as well. You will have the same destiny and as they going to face and to have. من تشبه بهم أصبح مثلهم في الدنيا. If you imitate them and you follow their footsteps, your relationship with this dunya will be like them, the way the relationship with the dunya. But also we worry that means that in the akhirah you will be like them as well. empty. They don't have anything to offer for the akhirah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. So it's a very brilliant and very needed for us, because I can tell you that living long enough in the Western world, I see how much we are impacted by the society around us. That everything in this society, on the society that we're living in, and unfortunately even in 21st century in general, because the whole world became like a small village, you see that even when you travel to the heart of the Muslim world today. But the point is, we're living here, it's much, much more tense, that everything around you is about connecting you more and more deeper into the dunya. Not much to connect you up to the akhirah, or to remind you of Allah and the Day of Judgment. It's all about this world. And no doubt, this is the opposite of Zuhd and the opposite of al-wara. This hadith reported by Abi Dawood, and this hadith, there is a debate over the authenticity of it. And I do believe that this hadith is acceptable, hasan, and some ulama even categorize it as sahih, like Imam al-Iraqi rahimahullah ta'ala. But it is hasan according to many of ulama al-hadith, Abu Dawood rahimahullah, and Ibn Hajar al-Suyuti, and Ibn Taymiyyah and others. Jawadu isnad, they said it's a sound and acceptable hadith. And the reason there is a debate over this hadith, because a man, his name Abdul Rahman ibn Thabit ibn Thawban, there is a debate over how trustworthy narrator he is when it comes to memory, his memorizations, and how accurate his narration is. Some ulama rahimahumullah consider him as weak narrator, like Ibn Ma'in rahimahullah wa Ahmad. Others consider him thiqa, trustworthy, like Ibn Madini wa Ibn Abi Hatim wa Abi Dawood, قال لا بأس به. So what it seems to me like his hadith, wallahu a'lam, is considered min qabil al-hasan, min qabil al-hasan, it's acceptable narration. Man tashabbaha, resemble, imitates, assimilate, copying, adopting somebody's lifestyle. The word tashabbah, this phrase in Arabic, is the same in English. It means that you're doing this intentionally. هذا فرق بين تشبه وشابه. شابه, I look like. Sometimes I look like something, or I do the same thing, but I never have the intention to imitate you. I don't have the intention to copy you, to basically to be similar to you, and try to be like you, or adopt your look, or adopt your lifestyle. No, it just happened to be the same. Okay? So this hadith shows clearly from its wording that this is something you do it intentionally. And not only you do it intentionally, بل تتكلفها لقوله تشبه. التاء, this تاء شبه, تاء المفاعلة. It means that you put effort to be like him, to be like them. And majority of the ulama rahimahumullah, or any scholar that I come across speaking about this hadith, he said that this hadith is meant or talking about imitating the wrong thing, like al-kuffar, the disbelievers, the mubtadi'ah, al-fussaq, the wrongdoers, the evildoers, the innovators in religions, the people of fisq, or the people of kufr. And qawl al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is from them, or he is like them, or he is one of them. Halan wa ma'ala. And this is very scary. It means that he is one of them in this dunya and also in the akhirah. That's why man ahabba qawm hushira ma'ahum. If you love someone, you will be resurrected with that person. And the only way, the only reason you would imitate someone like that is because you like him. You like their lifestyle. You love that. You love that's why you see when people love a singer or a sports person or athletes, you know what they do? They start imitating his hairstyle, his look, his shirt, his walk, his way of talking. You know, when they like a singer, they do the same thing, like a movie star, a politician, whatever person that any person that you like and you love, you start imitating that person. And many times we imitate our parents because we love them. That's natural. So that's scary. Who you imitate, who you try to copy, you will be like them in the dunya and you will be like them in the akhirah. Might be like them in the akhirah as well. What do we learn from this short hadith? Many lessons. Lesson number 1. ارتباط الظاهر بالباطن. There is a connection between your appearance and your inner soul. There is a connection between the heart and the action that you do with the limbs. They impact one another. It's not only the impact comes from inside out, but also from outside in. And a lot of people don't pay attention to that. The way that you look, the way you carry yourself, whatever you say, the talk, it impacts you. And today in modern psychology, they said our physiology impact our psychology. You know, if you bring your shoulders together, you look down, you clench like that, and you look down, and you put your face like, you know, like sad face, you will be in a low mood. You open your chest, you take a deep breath and a big smile, and you look up, you think positive. You know, if you do like that and you look up and you start thinking about memory, you think and you remember the memory that comes to your head, something positive. Your basically physiology impact your psychology. We smile because you are happy, but also many times our smile brings joys to us. So this is very important to keep in mind. And the same thing when it comes to religion, to faith. How your iman will go up or go down. Watch your appearance. Watch who you imitate. Watch how you look like. Because some people said, oh, don't worry. Why you think there is so much in religion focus on appearance? As well as there is a lot of focus on the inner soul and your heart and you from inside. But also there is a lot of rules has to do with the appearance. Look at the salah. There is talk about khushu' and focus and tadabbur and being sincere. But also there's a lot of rules about where to put your hand, how to move your finger, where to look, how to sit, how to make ruku'. And these things the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam invested time and effort and making sure that we do. Why? Because the way you perform the salah, it will impact how you feel inside the salah. Salatul Jumu'ah, you take a shower, you put a new clothes, put a perfume before you come to the masjid if you're a male, and see how that, come early, you sit near, you pay attention. That will make you receptive, impact your inside. You know, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ordered the Muslim to be different. He said, grow your beard and trim your mustache. Order women to put hijab. Order men to cover awrah and women. This appearance has impact on you from inside. And it's interesting. If you start wearing the same clothes like You put your, maybe in an old school or like this is not any, I don't know if it still even exists or not. But in the hip hop like music, and I know zero about that culture. Maybe I should ask Kahari to help. He can let me know more. Kahari, make sure if I messed it up, let me know. Okay? So if you put the cap on the side, you pull your pants down, and you start doing like this, and you start like walking and dragging your feet and all those, you will find, from inside, all this because I'm not a big, I have a very clear position about musics and instruments that's not allowed. But I'll tell you one thing I like about hip hop music that, in my opinion, inspired a lot of young people to be proud of themselves, to give them strength and power. These words empower a lot of people. And I had a talk with many people. And that's one thing I think is very positive, actually, that it has a good, that empower culture. But in the other hand, there is part of it, which is we all familiar with, the drugs and the sex and and the things that But immediately when you start having the appearance like that, you'll find yourself start talking like them. Same language, same words, same even curse. It's just weird. You put a car with the rims and lights and inside and outside, like blue lights, whatever. Like one of our shaykh here, mashallah, has blue lights from inside and red from outside, whatever he does to his car. I hope he's listening to me. When you do stuff like that and you put your car down, you will find yourself, even the way you carry yourself change. I will never forget, one of the people I know very well, he got a new car, his first time ever to ride a BMW. Like latest model, top notch, ZX, whatever, or Z4, I think they call it. Sports car, and oh my God. I would never forget the look in his face. Immediately become like that. When you drive your Corolla or your Camry, mashallah, but you start like having like Bentley, or one of these like sports car, Maserati, it's different. Even the attitude change. The outside impact the inside. You dress in a very unmodest way. It has to impact you from inside, and as well if you dress modest. So don't ever think that there is no connection between the in and out. And don't ever think that is the outside, the appearance is not important. No, it is important. We don't have anything in our religion it's called not important. We have things in our religion called less important, but still it is important. This is something that you should care for in your religious issues and the worldly matter issues. So you be careful. With somebody, I ask him, did you say adhkar, the morning dhikr, the night dhikr? No, ya akhi, mashallah, my heart is always connected with Allah. Tayyib, your heart connected with Allah, make your tongue connected too. No, don't focus on these things. I focus on the real deal, which is my heart. Those people not following the way of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam cared to say the adhkar and dua with his tongue. As well, he cared to focus on what he's saying and to reflect and to have his heart attached to Allah. La. It's not important to grow beard. What's important than your beard is your taqwa, your iman. Yeah, but if you really have full taqwa, you follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ when the Prophet ordered you to do that. No, 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 it's not about how much you cover from your body, brother. It's about how much haya you have. Yeah, that's true. But also there is a connection. You follow the orders of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So going back, so that's why I'm saying the issue of tashabbuh. You imitate. You will find yourself naturally and without even knowing, you start adopting that lifestyle. That's why they call it as-sahib sahib. Your company will pull you in, will pull you towards them. This hadith is a very famous hadith as an evidence for the fuqaha who believe in saddu dhara'i. Or the fuqaha, when they talk about saddu dhara'i, is no doubt part of the religion, but it depends how much you use it. Saddu dhara'i, it means that you avoid something because it might open the door for something haram or lead you to something haram. Okay? So that's basically, I stop here because I don't want to end up there. Like Sharia forbade you to be alone with a woman because it can lead you to, have a unlawful relationship with this woman. Didn't allow you to touch a woman that's not allowed for you to touch because it can lead to zina, to fall into adultery. There is a boundaries. You don't cross that red line. You keep her privacy, you respect her, you don't violate because that can lead to something bad to happen later on. So here, this concept, why? Sharia said, don't imitate those who don't believe, don't have no faith, have no Sharia, have no religion. Don't imitate them because it might lead you to end up being like them. Don't believe in God, don't believe in religion, don't believe in prophets and the guidance of the prophets. And we have seen, if you look at the people who, I can tell you, a majority, 90% I would say, from the people, at least in my own experience of what I've been reading and following this issue for a while now, the people who leave Islam. By the way, majority of people leave Islam. It's not because of theology or because of logic and rational decision that they came to. No, it's about fulfilling desires. They want to live free, they want to fulfill their desires like the world around them. So you know what, religion is just holding me back, drop the religion. That lifestyle, imitating it, led to that. Another point, at-tashabbuh, imitating in Sharia, when it comes to the imitating that is not allowed, it has to do with imitating the things. Number one, that it is haram in our religion, forbidden in our religion to do, or it is part of other people's religion. That's for me forbidden to do. I'm not allowed as a Muslim to carry a cross or the crucifixion of Jesus, or to wear the amika or the hat like the Jews, or to have a Christmas tree in the Christmas time and celebrate Christmas. Okay? Because that's a religious practice from other. I'm not allowed to, have Buddha's statues on my car for blessings. These are or something like that, or imitate them. I have a statue for someone I call this Muhammad. Okay, so imitating them in things related to their religion, part of their religion for non-Muslims' religion, and part of their belief, and it is not from our religion. Okay, or it is in their religion, I'm not allowed to do it. And doing it, it could be a form of kufr or haram. Kufr if it is negates the principle of Sharia, like praying to other than Allah, or offering any act of worship to other than Allah. Or haram, sins. Okay? So will not be allowed in our religion. طيب. What about things that it is not religious? Non-religious things. Things that are part of culture. Am I allowed to imitate non-Muslims in it? We say that these things that are part of culture, if it is a common thing, a common culture, you are allowed to do. But if it is a culture only specifically for people who known to be non-Muslim, that's not allowed. Only person who's not a Muslim will do that. Only Catholic will wear that. Only Jews will wear that. Only Buddhist will wear that. Only Buddhist monk will have that hairstyle. You see? If this is the case, I'm not allowed to do. Only one specific person in the world have this style. If hairstyle, clothes, whatever, I'm not allowed. And that person is, and that's it, nobody else. In this case, it became not allowed for you to copy it. But if this is something common, it is common. That's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, him and his companions, did not change the clothes and the style of their clothing after Islam, even after they moved to Medina. Did not say, you know what, we're not going to wear the same clothes of people of Mecca. They still wear the same clothes that Arabs used to wear. And, Arabs, the majority at that time, were not Muslims. But this type of clothes that they were wearing was not a clothes that is associated with kufr. It's not associated with shirk. Has nothing to do with being specifically related to the wearing it because of shirk. I give you an example. So for example, it's very common, the collar for the Catholic priest. It's a very distinguished. I don't think necessarily that this collar is something that part of the religion, but it became part of the culture that developed in Catholicism, and that's what they wear. I'm not allowed as a Muslim to wear it. And I'm not allowed as a mu'min or as a Muslim to do, or as an imam to do that. Certain type of rosaries, certain type of clothes that has become very distinguished. No. Even if it's not, they don't do it religiously, but it's become part of the culture that's associated with that religion. Okay? So that's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his clothes and the clothes of his companions were known to be clothes that commonly used by Muslim and non-Muslim. That's why anything, even if it is started as something related to non-Muslim only, then it became so common between Muslim and non-Muslim, you're allowed to wear it. You're allowed to do it. And I give you an example during the Prophet ﷺ in al-Bukhari or Muslim. قالوا يا رسول الله ما يلبس المحرم. What المحرم, the person who making Hajj or Umrah, wear what kind of clothes? قال لا يلبس القميص. The muhrim should not wear القمص ولا العمائم ولا السراويل ولا البرانس. You should not wear shirts, turban, pants, ولا البرانس. What's al-baranis? Al-burnus is a type of clothes that was known to be worn by the Christian monk. And it's like a long rope with the hoodie. You put the hoodie on the top of your head. Like the long rope with the hood. If you see today the Moroccans, the people from North Africa in general, especially Morocco, they wear this a lot. They have this, they put it on the top of their head. That's al-burnus. And it was something known to be coming from the Christian monks. Then it was used by the public, and it was used by Muslims and non-Muslims. And some of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum have seen wearing al-burnus. Like Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, Anas ibn Malik, because not anymore related to the non-Muslim. And then Imam Malik was asked about al-burnus, can it be wearing? He said, la ba's. He was told, but it used to be from the Christian monks who wear it. Then he said, yeah, but we all wear it here. قال لكنه كان إنه من لبوس النصارى قال كان يلبس ها هنا. It was maybe, but now everybody wearing it, or it is commonly used. Also, to prove that point, when a culture became a common culture, Umar radiallahu anhu arda started something called ad-dawaween. Ad-dawaween was enlisting to document the name of people who are in the like reserve for the army, and people who are listed in the army. So when they go to the battle, it will be written their names, so we know who went, who didn't come back, who got lost, who died, their inheritance, their family. Okay? And that was, Umar took this from the what? From the Persian. And before that, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took from the Persian the concept of trench in the battle of Al-Khandaq, the trench, when Salman told him that this is how I saw the people in Persia doing. And Nabi took that. Nobody said that's imitating haram. No, that's good. Fatima radiallahu anha wa ardaha, she told Asma bint Umays, I don't like the way woman's funeral, the way of the woman funeral. Why? She said because the woman is carried and they put just a garment on the top of her which shows the detail of her body. Then she told her, you know what, Ya Fatima, when I was in Habasha, in Abyssinia, I saw them doing something very nice. They take the branches of the palm tree and they make it wet, and they make it like a curve, like a half circle. Okay? They curve it and they make it like a half circle. Then they put it on the top of the deceased, the woman. Then they cover it with a cover, so the body will not be, the details of the description of the body will not be shown. She liked it, and she ordered that will be done to her when she die and when they carry her out of her house. And she said to her, when I die, you wash me and you do this to me. قال ابن عمر فهي أول من غطي نعشها في الإسلام. She liked it, and she was the first one ever for her body to be covered this way. So she didn't feel any problem with copying the people of Abyssinia or Christians, because number one, it's not something, because it's what? Because it's not something religious. It's something from the culture. It doesn't contradict with us. Something good and beneficial. And after that, it became very commonly used in the Muslims until today. Also, التشبه has to have intention. Remember this. If you do something and it happened to be like someone else, I don't mean anything, but this is what I think is the right thing, it is not tashabbuh. This is the way Allah created me. That's how my hair looks like. That's what, culturally we are. We're not going to change it because there is some Muslim doing that, or some people who worship other than Allah doing that. We keep doing that. The same thing when we do some of our act of worship and there is someone who do the same kind of act of worship in the same time, we're not going to leave it because of them. We're not going to change our time because of them. For instance, Nabi Sallallahu said, grow your beard. But what today, we see the culture today and the fashion today, everybody grow beard. So Muslim law, let's be different, let's shave our beard. No, because you've been ordered to do that, you fulfill that. So it doesn't matter if somebody imitated you or became like you, because your intention when you grow the beard is not to imitate, what is his name? Harden. Is that his name? The Rockets guy? Harden. You know, I'm not trying to imitate him. I'm trying to imitate Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. طيب. Another point, it's important to keep that in mind. Imitating non-Muslim in things which is in a worldly matter. And it's not necessarily culture, not a lifestyle. In a worldly matter, and even if it's a culture or lifestyle that is general and beneficial, there is nothing wrong with that. So it's not haram, for example, to eat with chopsticks. Nobody can say, first of all, there's a lot of Chinese Muslims, number one. Number two, it's not a religious, it's a common thing. People use that all the time. It's a way just to eat. Same thing with spoons or fork or knife and fork. Nobody can say, you know what? This is imitating. And by the way, there is people at one point said that. I even read a book about saying that it's haram to eat with fork and spoons and stuff like that. But that's wrong. That's wrong understanding of the hadith and what this hadith talking about. Because the ulama rahimahumullah said that this hadith talking about mainly about the religious things and the lifestyle that has to do with impacting your religion, but not the purely worldly things. Or you imitate out of, that the imitating will impact or make you attached to that person. And I'll give you an example that the ulama rahimahullah give. So for instance, if you start having the hairstyle and the same shirt, the same clothes of someone who is a disbeliever or a fasiq, even if he's a believer but a fasiq, a singer, a Muslim singer or stars, and he's bad. He's known to be a very bad person in his life. Person who's in drugs and calling people to do the haram and openly practice the haram. What do you think of having the same hairstyle, the same shirt, the same walk, the same way of talking? What do you think you're going to end up doing? You're going to end up following that person and being like that person. That's why we be very careful who you attach your heart to. Also, this ulama said you're not allowed to imitate al-mubtadi'ah, the innovators, in the way they do and they practice their religion or they practice their bid'ah. You avoid that. So it's not only related to the non-Muslims or the people who don't have faith or even people with faith but with bad manners, with bad akhlaq, with wrongdoing, with evildoers. You're not allowed to imitate them in that evildoing, in the lifestyle that it is connected to their wrongdoing. I hope this distinguish is clear. Imitating non-Muslim in things that is beneficial to us, it is recommended or wajib. If I know, for example, that this is a protocol, an excellent protocol to treat cancer, invented by a Jewish community, a Christian, Buddhist, atheist, whatever it is. I don't want to imitate them and take that protocol and apply it because that will save life. That's wajib. You know what? That's a very efficient way of preserving energy. Or, military equipments. No, turn it off. اغلقها عشان الصوت. جزاك الله خير. And so forth, it's recommended for the person to do so. Al-ulama rahimahullah also said, if there is something has to do with worldly matters, as I said earlier, and it is, if you see it, you will connect that person to that fisq, to that evil doing, or wrongdoing, or this haram thing. Let's say this is, they used to have in the past a hairstyle. Only prostitute will put their hair in that style. So in the street, if you see that hairstyle, يسمونها مشطة يعني الفاجرة. The hairstyle of a prostitute. Which is, that's not allowed for a Muslim woman to wear or to put her hairstyle like that. I give you an example. I was asked if it is allowed to have a halal bar party. I said, how is that halal bar party? So they told me, a halal bar party, they rent a club, a bar, or they bring a person who is in the behind the bar attendant, and will have all the bottles and all the thing and all the shots and all the cups for the, the same look, the same, but it's not alcoholic. But it looks the same with the lights and the DJ and it's a nightclub, but it's halal just because it's not alcoholic. I said that's haram. Shaykh music, it's not even about music, it's about the imitating. It's not allowed. That's why I do believe it's not allowed for you. Cheers, and we have the cups and we hit it to each other. That's imitating fisq, which is drinking alcohol. Or you take the tequila shots and you just drink it. That's not allowed. So it is important for people to avoid that and to know that this is something the Sharia said no for a reason. So you will not be familiar, you became so relaxed with the haram. Because if you do that, that's became, you relax, you're lowering your guard. This concept also is very important to know that some of these things, our culture can be different from one culture to another. The whole concept of at-tashabbuh is based on culture. And it can be different from one culture to another. I'll give you an example. Wearing thobe like this, what I'm wearing now, a long dress, white. This is something common in Arabia, in the Arab Peninsula, in many Muslim countries. So when I went to one Muslim country, without giving name, I found women wearing the thobe that we wear in Arabia, women wearing it. If that woman lives in Arabia, we said it's haram because that's imitating men. But in her country, that's a common thing they wear. Even the hijab was the same thing that the people from the Gulf wear, the ghutara and stuff. It was very interesting to see that. If you see a man, a Muslim man, have all these earrings and stuff like that, oh, are you imitating? No. You know what? I'm from Africa. I'm from certain places I saw, for example, in northern Pakistan, they told me that in mountains, that people there actually have earrings in certain places. In Africa, they have all these earrings. This is normal for men. They don't imitate anyone. So it can be culturally accepted. At one point, it was in some cultures, even in Arab cultures, you read in books of biography, that some of the ulama, he said, I used to have an earring. And I took it off and I sold it when I was younger. So here we see that these things can change over time. So at one point, this clothes, this fashion, this hairstyle, this way of wear, at one point was haram. But later on became so common because it is halal. In certain culture, you go to a village in Arabia or a village in Egypt, and you tell them this is, no Muslim there do that. If you come like this, it will be like you respect that culture. And we said you're not allowed to do that in front of them because that will make you odd. As we say this, I recognize something very important. That by the day, the culture border is disappearing. The concept of this is culture here, culture there, is disappearing by the day. There's a very thin line. And the world became a mixed, multicultural, and is not anymore distinguished. But Sharia has a reason to make that distinguished culture, to protect. من باب سد الذرع, to protect, it put like a wall around the rules and about the personality of the Muslim. Also, to put a protection to the concept of al-wala' wal-bara'. Because al-wala' it means the love, because imitating is inspired by love. So that's why the Sharia want to make sure that you watch who you imitate, because that means that you follow that footsteps. Sharia want to give that izzah for the Muslims. That they don't imitate. They should be the one who are imitated. Somebody shared with me, a post or a writing from the medieval time where European used to wear, long clothes when they became scientists and stuff like that, which is today we have that garment when you graduate and you have doctrine and you graduate from college, you have this long robe on you. That's the same clothes that the Muslim used to wear. And it became so, somebody was suggesting that this actually came as an imitating to this civilization, the Muslim civilization, because of this knowledge and advance in math and algebra and all those things. This is when the Muslim, in medieval time, European used to show off that they know Arabic. And some of them in their writing books, they write some in Arabic, just show off. I learned from Muslims. So the concept of al-izzah has to do with the tashabbuh. But watch out. This is just not empty words. It has to be actions. It has to be real. التشبه is haram when it comes also to a shaitan, unless we have a proof that this tashabbuh is not meant to be haram, it's just not recommended. So anytime the Prophet said, a shaitan does this, you should not imitate the shaitan. You should not eat with your left hand. You should not drink with your left hand. You should not sit while your hands behind you like that, imitating the people of Ahl al-Nar. And half of you in the shade, half of you in the sun. This makruh, dislike. Ibn Umar, Amr ibn Shu'ayb, عن أبي عن جده أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال, the traveler is shaitan, the two travelers is two shaitan, and the thalatha is a group. In another word, don't be like the shaitan, travel by yourself or only two. You have to be more than two. But when I travel today, do I have to have at least two with me? Is it haram to travel by myself? No, it's not. In Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam fil Bukhari, he told Malik ibn al-Huwayrith, he said, me and my friend, we left, and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, make adhan and make iqamah, and the older among you lead the prayer. Because they have the same amount of Quran. They became Muslim at the same time. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sent Amr ibn Damirah to Mecca to bring the news, and he sent him by himself. He sent so many messengers to travel by themselves. So the hadith shows it's not haram but it's just not recommended, especially in the old days when people cross the desert. Final point. This hadith said, whoever imitates someone becomes one of them. Yes, the ulama always focus on imitating the kuffar or imitating the non-Muslim or the wrongdoers or the bad. But also, by the way, this hadith can apply to righteous people. If you imitate the righteous, if you imitate the good people, you become one of them. So you should care to imitate the good. Imitate the good people. Imitate what is good in people, a Muslim and a Muslim. Imitate, what is right and correct. And remember, we start with that your physiology impacts your psychology. Don't ever underestimate the power of imitation and copying a lifestyle of someone, especially when we talk about the Zuhd or wara, because the lifestyle of the people who don't believe in Allah, the Day of Judgment, is not going to lead ever to have Zuhd or wara in your life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ينفعنا وإياكم بما سمعنا. صلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وآله. I don't think we have any, but also, by the way, this hadith can apply to righteous people. If you imitate the righteous, we have any. I'm trying to pull it out. Also, by the way, this hadith can apply to righteous people. Isn't permissible because according to the time represent crucifixion of Jesus. No, wearing necktie is okay. And even if this true, which is, I don't think it's true, but even if it's true that at one point it was presenting crucifixion of Jesus, I don't know how that is, but even if it is the case, I would say that this is not anymore the case and completely changed. So it is allowed for you to wear a tie. And Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said that wearing the tie is among the thing that purify you. طب Asma says she laughing. Jazakallah khair. Nice.
She was laughing when you talked about the Islam people.
طيب. What about that those possess beauty, obsessed with beauty, they became arrogant. Okay. Indeed, may Allah make it. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Okay.
I think it's Muhammad wrote a question in Arabic. I can't read it. It says something like,
Oh, that's just somebody posted the hadith. You did good, man. Nice.
okay, I'll close it out.
Okay.